And a very good morning to all of you from Chicago, Illinois, the city of broad shoulders, the Windy City. Good morning, and this morning's vlog is brought to you by Dunkin' Donuts, the official and unofficial sponsors of Chicago Mornings. Make sure you start your day the Dunkin' way. Grab a large like I do every day and start it with a smile on your face. Yeah, we finished. Good morning, Marshall.
Good morning.
Finished up the box build yesterday. The video will be coming today. We do have a stormy day here in Chicago, which is not going to make any never mind on the box because that box is so weatherproof and ready to roll. It's unbelievable. Four Scores, how you doing? Baked, what's up? Good morning, Miss Kitty. Sean Smith. Good morning, Richard. Richard, wasn't that a crazy rig? A super freightliner pulling that rig. Marshall, we're talking about the rig that was on the lot.
That was a.
What are your comments on that?
Well, that was
three air conditioners.
Yeah, that was what they call a. It's kind of like called a Super C toter home. It's built on a box truck with a Freightliner chassis. I guess they're made in Indiana by a lot of those companies there, the Amish companies, rent it out. And a lot of storage underneath, kind of like a Class A, and on a Freightliner chassis, and big trailer in the back. So it looks like it's a rental. So maybe people can rent those if you go to their website. God knows how much it costs though.
Costs a lot. I don't know what it is they got inside, but they got 3 air conditioners on top. It's pretty crazy. Good morning, Beryl. Good morning, Sesame Kim C. How are you doing, my doll baby? Allison, nice to see you. Diamond Can, good morning to you. Shiraj, good morning to you. Like I say, it's almost a relief to have a day that is kind of overcast. And a little bit of spit, a little bit with drizzle. It's a nice, it's comfortable. I'm going to enjoy it today. I'm going to go out and get myself, when this is over, I'm going to get myself a couple Polish original hot dogs for lunch there. Got kind of a late start. I wanted to go and really clean up good today now that the box build is complete, and sort of get freshened up a little bit. So I'm feeling really good now. I was disappointed. My first real disappointment in Dunkin' Donuts this morning. I had one of the old-fashioned donuts, and it looked like quality control. What do you think, quality control kind of?
Oh, so definitely, because they make the donuts off-site, and there's definitely
Missy.
something wrong with that batch.
Eating sweet sausage sandwiches. Good morning, Missy Jenn. Nice to see you if you're out there.
Missy Jenn. She's
there
out
she
there.
is. Happy Tuesday. But it's the first time I've ever had a Dunkin', and I got the old-fashioned, which is the original, the original just plain, because I really enjoy it better with a lot of goo, and sometimes I'll get the blueberry muffin, but it's too damn many calories. It's almost 500 calories for a blueberry muffin. PG, I'm from Oklahoma. The donuts are all Krispy Kreme is the best. Yeah, I haven't seen any Krispy Kreme. Hey, Kelly. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, Jen.
Marshall. And, good morning, Joey D. I'm hoping you're new. Cornholio. How you doing, Cornholio? Cornholio in the chat. So it's quite a relief to have finished that up. I think basically you can say that it came out really good.
I think it came out great. Yeah,
it wasn't designed the way you thought in your mind that the box would be, but now you kind of see the functionality of the design and stuff.
I think that it's going to be a tremendous reveal for this generator storage box. I think that a lot of people in the RV community that are looking to build a generator out of a wood box, out of wood. Most people don't use wood. This is a very, very cool design, very functional, and I think it'll benefit a lot of people that are looking to do some sort of a build for a storage box in general, or generator.
Dumpster, he didn't slick back his hair. We just got done at getting showered up this morning, so but I'm sure you won't apologize. Okay, let's see. So anyway, today I'm going to concentrate on getting another Chicago experience here. I had something really nice with Mr. X last night. I never saw a place that put a pork chop on basically a hamburger. bun, and it was delicious. I mean, can you imagine? That's just putting a whole pork chop with the bone.
And there's something about the onions, right, that made the sandwich special.
Made it really good.
Really good.
Yeah, yep. It's all weather sealed wood there, Nola. So hot here and so humid in North Carolina. Today is kind of nice. It's 78 degrees, but we got a heat wave coming into 97 for what, 2 or 3 days.
Yeah. There's a couple of there's a couple of days coming where it's going to be 100 degrees.
My next stop's going to be next official stop's going to be Santa Rosa. After this, I'm going to go back to the Rancho. I'm going to spend about a month down there, and then the SoCal tour begins in September. So
Joseph has a question for you. He says, Rosie, do you use Planet Fitness for anything else other than a shower? They're wondering if you work out.
No, not at this point in time, because of I'm doing so much exercise with building and crawling under the rig.
And even chooching. When she chooches, it's a lot of walking.
Yeah, so I have not used it for anything for that at the current time. But I will once things reach a point where they're leveled out. Last night we had the rain and everything, and it was so nice. I really had a good night's sleep. The night before it was horrendous with the.
I think it's
I miss Missy Jenn a lot. Yeah. Hope to see. So I'll just be going back. Hey, forever friend, I'll just be going back on I-80 the whole way. Which will basically take me backtracking through Omaha and through Wyoming and into Utah, and right across Utah and right across Nevada. So
I wanted to bring up somebody real quick.
Forever friend, say good morning, Elvis.
Good morning. Do you remember?
I don't have a Fitbit. No, I don't. Sesame's trying. Hey, Wendover, Cobra John. Yeah, maybe we'll pop off and look at the Bonneville salt flats.
Yeah, Rosie, I was gonna just point this out since I was bringing up Arizona with algodones and Flagstaff and all that. Do you remember whatever happened to Daydrifter?
She lived in Tucson,
right?
And she's put like 2 things up in the last year.
So okay, so
I think she's still around. Yeah.
Okay.
I have almost a 1,900-mile drive from Chicago to Santa Rosa. So, hey, Johnny Wad, what's going on? What's going on, Johnny Wad? Nice to see you. Let's just show me a picture. They're known for their old school king cake too. Any plans? Probably before. I'm not sure. Vegas may be more towards, it's still beautiful weather in November and December. I'm not really sure. I spent a lot of time in Las Vegas this summer, as you know. And in communicating with Dee, has expressed an interest. And as I said yesterday, and I was going to do a hangout, but I found myself so tired at night. Mr. X takes us around. Driving around, you saw the Chinatown chooch, which was cool. It was short because it's a short Chinatown. There's not a big Chinatown.
Do you want to talk about what happened towards the end of my chooch there? With that?
Oh yeah, I'll get to that.
Okay.
I just want to touch on D because I've been promising that.
Is that really him in the side chat?
Yeah,
Let
I
me
think
check.
that's probably D there.
I'm gonna check. Okay, that really is.
I've talked to him about, and I will just say this is just a preface. I'm not into cursing people out on hangouts and stuff like that. And it's not my game. And I know that Dee had a hangout last night. And, I'm not about that kind of stuff, about singling people out and berating them on a hangout and then taking it down. I stand by my stuff. I like Dee a lot. I'm just going to ask him, his plan is to get a van and to travel and come out west, stop at the Rancho, and then begin our journey down to Southern California. And I like to keep things positive on a positive note. It's not been, I know this is not everybody's cup of tea being in Chicago and being with Marshall, but it's my choice to make. And it's my YouTube channel. And I've always run the channel the way I want to do it. I'm not on here tearing anybody down. I'm not on here making fun and parodies of people. I'm on here being positive on a daily basis. And I do hope, very few other people, I think, in this community can claim the same. So that's the way I'll continue going. I'll continue making the choices that I want to make. I took this as a personal challenge to me to build a high quality box. I looked forward to the challenge. I think I engineered a good product here. And I don't care what the blowback is on it from so-called generator experts and stuff like that, because they really don't know what they're talking about. So.
Yeah, I want to just mention really quick, whoever the boardroom is says the boardroom, I like Marshall. Well, thank you.
Hey, that's Sam. Sam Telfer.
Is that Sam Telfer?
Down in Indiana,
okay.
down there. Sam Telfer.
Good morning, Sam.
She's another person that's very she's controversial, but she's strongly opinionated, and she does her own thing. She doesn't let anybody else direct from the roar of the crowd. Does not direct her activities. So I love her a lot.
Nice.
Love her a lot. So having said that, I really think that I'm looking forward to him coming out and being on the Southern California swing. I think that that's going to be a lot of fun to do the Pacific Coast Highway. I don't think it's doable really on a scooter, the dangers of that, but I think if he gets a van, works as he's working now, to get a van, he will be all set for a lot of fun.
So Rosie, what kind of van do you think that he should get?
I think that he should try to get maybe a minivan, a Dodge Caravan, Grand Caravan, something like that. If you can find an old Econoline van banging around, they run forever with the legendary Windsor motor in it. These things go forever, and you can get them for a couple grand now. Some of these things. See, what's up? What's up, Nicole? Good morning to you. Good morning, Karina. How are you?
He said he's getting a minivan.
Oh, boardroom. Sam says I'm from Titusville, Florida. Now in South Bend, Indiana. Interesting.
Marshall, I'm from Titusville, Florida. Now on South Bend. Oh, cool.
That's really cool.
Mr. X has got a place down in Titusville.
So I mean, if we can be positive and keep content positive when we get on the road for the Southern California swing, that's fine. As far as integrating that with Elvis Travels and Marshall and what he's doing, it's up to him to integrate that if he wishes. I know he has expressed needing to get some work done, some dental work, and of course Algodondes, which is right across from Yuma, is an ideal place. It's a medical city. The only thing it does is provide medical service, so the competition is fierce down there for people. Missy Jenn and I went in, and you would see 100 people lined up to go into Mexico in the morning. It's too cold for you now. I used to curse my bands. Thank you very much. So I'm looking forward. We'll see how that integrates. You going to explain anything about that?
Oh, Algodondes. Well,
what your research has shown you about what your goal is. Or...
We've seen a lot of videos of Bob Wells made videos of Algodondes and the dental services, medical services that are there. Rosie's been there.
Speak up a little bit.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
So basically, I think there's a lot of. I have some questions. I don't know if it'd be actually cheaper to fly there and get a hotel room in Algodondes and just stay in Algodondes while you get dental work done. I'm not sure. That's something that people haven't really talked about. Is it cheap to get a hotel room in Algodondes? Yuma, on the American side, they have some places that you can stay there, but I'm still trying to figure out. I'd like to take the Lisa Marie, but is it cheaper to just get a hotel room and fly there to Yuma? Nobody's really ever made a video on that, right?
Well, you just have to decide if you want to, if you go to Southern California after, it's 2 hours and 51 minutes from Algodondes to San Diego, okay? You may, at that point, if you get dental work done, may want to be in the San Diego, LA area for a period of months and months to explore the scene down there. You're not going to be able to do that. So your choice is whether you're going to do a one-shot Johnny into Algodones and then come back and continue here in Chicago, or whether you want to have the Lisa Marie and change your venue to a new area of the West. So that's something that you'll have to decide. Hey, J Money.
Yeah, I think that Flagstaff is an excellent place to spend some time in because of the weather, altitude. Probably gas prices are cheap there. Probably easy to boondock, so I think it's an excellent place to probably go up to Flagstaff.
Morning, Cassidy.
But
Cobra John says flying into Yuma is expensive compared to Phoenix. That would be true.
Yep.
And Yuma is not a cheap little town. You know, we found we stayed at night at I think it was called the Town and Country there.
Right.
And it was all bikers blowing by the door all night long, and it's a tough little town.
How much was the hotel room in Yuma? Did you?
I think it was about $100.
Really, about $100.
It was a pretty dated and aged.
Wow. Okay.
Have you tried the health department? They go by your. No, it's not that simple for dental. You know, especially speaking of California, you have Dentical, and they're only going to do pulling teeth, extracting teeth, and doing fillings. They're not doing root canals, and I think most Medicaid programs are the same way. So.
Yeah, I think that according to did some research on the weather, it doesn't cool off considerably until October. The temperatures are really hot right now over there, but I don't know if I could hold off.
A lot of dental schools have cut down on their practicum programs. Did a lot of research into that. You know, they want to do. Those dental clinics are just meant for pull and fill. They're not really, you know, when you get into the specialization of root canals and crowns, then you're talking about, you know, a lot of dentists, you know, most dentists don't do root canals. Most dentists don't do, they'll put a crown on, but they're not going to do the root canal. They leave that to an endodontist.
Endodontist, exactly. And a lot of time when you have gum problems or bone grafting, you have to go to an oral surgeon. And a lot of dentists just don't do that kind of work. So, yeah, I think this Algodones, Los Algodones, you know, it's known all over the United States. Everybody, even Canadians, go there. And I think it's a good place to go to. And if Rosie comes down to San Diego, if I went to Algodones and got some dental work done, and she did get this place that you're talking to Airbnb and she's talking about in San Diego, I could possibly meet up with her there.
Hi, MB. Good morning, baby doll.
I think that, I could probably go in my van now to Los Algodones, but I probably would have to sleep in the nighttime when the sun goes down and put my generator on for AC. And I don't think the weather would be hot in the nighttime there, right? At 80?
It drops down to about 80 degrees at night. So.
Which is low humidity also,
Yeah,
right?
there's no humidity out there.
Out there, so I think it would be...
None. So 80 feels like 70 here, I
right.
would say.
It would be more tolerable, actually, in the nighttime.
So I think priority one is to finally get that teeth stuff taken care of. And then he'll have to determine from there what he wants to do. You know, it's not going to be cheap if you're in there... You know, even though they do speed dentistry, you want to make sure you get a good place in there. That's why these places can't hide from Yelp reviews, these dental places, because there's just too many Americans going over there. So if he carefully reviews which place he wants to do it and contacts them, they can probably give a quotation.
There's over 350 dentists there.
Yeah.
And I'm sure... You know, most of them are good dentists, and people go there to get dental work done. I mean, you know, from my research and from what people are talking about. So, I mean, it'd be a very interesting experience and stuff.
Cobra John said, "Why not go into Nogales? Way cheaper than Yuma."
I don't think Nogales is a very safe town, from what I've heard over the years.
Queenie said, I used to park on USA's walk into Nogales to get. I would think that they would probably be about the same, although staying on the US side could be cheaper.
Yep.
I think the only way to do it is to really take your van. Hey, Tim. to make the journey, and then once you're down there, you'll probably, my guess is if he landed in Southern California in that region with everything to explore down in that area, my guess is he would be in California for the better part of a year once he got there, because he would find the climate so suited. It would still be warm but no humidity during daytime, and then chilly at night.
Yep.
So Carolyn RV Life has full videos on her research into Algodonda, so you might want to check them out.
Okay, Carolyn RV Life. Okay, I know who she is.
California's bum heaven, but it's also climate heaven too. There's a lot of things to recommend for California. Prices here are an equivalent. There's nothing special about Chicago. The food is cheaper in that regard, but gasoline is on a par with California right now because they've raised their gasoline tax up amazingly.
Oh yeah.
Here, so there's no escaping, you know, the tide towards blue over time and things like that. So make the trip for content. A lot of sightseeing along there. Yeah, that's what Cobra John said. Make the trip for content. There's a lot to see along the way. Down there.
Yeah, it would definitely be something to see. You know, it's I've always wanted to you know, explore Southern California for years. I was planning on going to San Diego and visiting Tijuana, but I've always wondered if it's safe, because over the years they're saying it's been safe. And
they've cleaned it up a lot because of the tourist trade. The town collapsed, so they brought federales in and they gutted the city basically. And the Tijuanans didn't even want the immigrant march people up there. They started having riots demanding that those people be turned away, because they were screwing up their town. Let's see, what did it say? Let's see. Hey, Andrew Scott, I'm from Dan, but can't stand the police state where you get a ticket for enjoying the beach. You have to be smart. The thing about Marshall, the difference between he and I, he doesn't care. He doesn't like beaches and stuff. He doesn't like to be on the beach. I do. I'm a beach goer. So my rental will be easy access to the beach. It'll be basically a streaming house. I'm doing good. I feel really good today. I feel real fresh. I slept well last night. The build is done. We're gonna have the video going up today. Probably do like a overview and then end it on a cinematic sort of note. The Mexican border towns are all the time. Just stay out of the hoods. Oh, you watched the Chinatown. That was cool. Why don't you explain people what happened? I had ended my stream.
Oh yeah.
And I heard, the guy was yelling. Why don't you tell him what happened?
Let me say first of all, good morning to Bella Rose. She just showed up.
The Queen of Buffalo.
Good morning, Bella. Nice to see you. Oh, what happened? Yeah, we were walking down the street in Chinatown, trying to find Mr. X's vehicle so we could hitch a ride back with him.
Of course, I went the wrong way.
There was an African American gentleman. I don't know if I want to call him a gentleman, but
he was distressed. He was obviously upset.
Yeah, he was sitting down on the sidewalk and yelling at the top of his lungs, "I built your business! I built your business!" And all of a sudden, Rosie walks past him, and this guy he gets up and he starts walking towards Rosie. So I'm like, I'm going to go walk towards Rosie just in case something happens here.
Just in case Marshall needs to jump in.
And the guy comes towards me, and he's yelling at the top of his lungs, "I built this business, I built this business." And all of a sudden, he runs towards the street and hurls himself towards, I guess, his girlfriend's car, and just throws himself at his girlfriend's car. And then his girlfriend gets into an accident with two other vehicles on the street, with two other Asian people on the street, and everybody's yelling. And I'm thinking, I don't know if this guy's got a gun or if he's going to stab his girlfriend or what's going to happen. The guy's all over the place. We got to get out of here,
man. We got to get out of here.
Yeah, and I told Rosie, I'm like, we need to get out of here. So it was kind of weird.
I would say, honestly, Kitten Cat says how much you complain about the neighborhoods and things. He has a very slim tolerance for things. I think I'm much more the adventurous type. I think my mouth can get me out of a lot of problems if I'm or $1 or $2 in somebody's hand can usually solve problems. So I'm much more adventurous. But it's not his nature to go out chooching in what I call border areas and stuff like that. He's always very, he does make judgments. This neighborhood's sketchy. This neighborhood, this used to be good. This is now bad. So he has been here long enough to see the change of neighborhoods. Like you said, when we went down to Jim's last night, it used to be all homeless hanging out down there.
And they cleaned up. I think Rosie has a tolerance and patience for bums, homeless people, people that are on drugs, people that are drunk, people that are just mentally not all there. Rosie has a tolerance for them. She has a patience for them. And I think in some odd way, shape, form, or fashion, she actually enjoys being around that type of environment, and I still haven't figured it out why.
Just where I grew up in that kind of environment, you know, I feel like I'm.
Is she doing it for the viewers, or does she actually like being?
I wouldn't do it if I didn't enjoy it. I don't go out and just produce content for the sake of doing. If I want to do something, I'll make content about it. Like I thought that Freightliner RV was very fascinating today to see that, so I popped up a quick video on that. So I'm going to take it easy today. He needs to get the right size chains I'm not going to discuss security things, but there's a lot of security built into this.
We're going to reveal everything about the generator box as far as the build and all that, and the material. I mean, you got to have to make a whole hangout on it of what it costs, the materials, how you built it, how it functions, and you could recommend people how to build a generator box for a portable generator for their
Vinny
RVs.
G. Hello to you. Okay, good morning to you, Vinny G. Thank you very much. Or I should say good evening to you. I hope you're doing well down in Australia. Nice to see you. I do. I'm a very patient and tolerant person. I have a very, as everybody knows, I rarely go over the line and explode. Okay, it's not my nature to do so. I'm an easygoing person. Yes, there's been, sometimes there's a tiny bit of friction, but it resolves. Marshall being an alpha male and stuff, and I'm not alpha female, but I have some ideas and stuff, and I like go highways. He likes city routing, so it becomes interesting.
Yeah, let me just tell you guys, like, Rosie is like, ever since I saw her chooching in Santa Rosa, in the bad areas, or not, I wouldn't say bad areas, but just the homeless, where the homeless people are at, I tried to figure out or comprehend why she was doing that, and I couldn't comprehend.
All right, go ahead.
So let me just say this: ever since I seen Rosie chooching in Santa Rosa around homeless people, I tried to comprehend why she was doing it. I didn't understand, and then we've seen her week after week, month after month, chooching in Reno and in Vegas around homeless people, and then I saw her having a beer with them and congregating and having a social whatever environment. And then I just thought to myself, and I put two and two together, that Rosie actually enjoys being around street people for whatever odd reason. I don't understand.
I like to be on ground level, and I enjoy it. That's a life that a lot of people don't see.
Yeah.
But I've done a lot to showcase people that even though they may hang on the street, they do have homes that they go to. But for them, it's the socialization, like in Vegas when Dee and I hung out with Cadillac and Tiger and those people. They all have homes to go to. They're not homeless people.
Yeah.
But they're there because they have what they call the wall of shame that they hang out on a daily basis, and they're not used to people coming up and, hey, how about a beer? Or let's get a party going here, and they're like, yeah, let's do it, and they have a good time. Check out Biscuit joined. Wait, know what I'm talking about? It's an alternative. Okay, yeah, Biscuits joined, Vinny G. If I had a biscuit maker, and Vinny G's talking about it creates a slot in the two pieces of wood that you want to put together, then you put a biscuit a thin piece of, like a rounded oval piece of material, and then you glue it on one side and then you slide it in the other. Yeah, you have to have a biscuit joiner. I was rather limited with the selection of tools that I had to work with. Ideally, I would have made this on a table saw and done it that way, but I think that the quality at the end came through. I think pinning this box will give it strength forever. You could feel it. I remember I lowered the box to the ground and you could hear the noise, and Mr. X is like, man, you can really tell you can really tell that box is put together. So I'll be glad when the vids are up, the critiquing will begin, but the box will be done and people will move on to other subjects and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
Karina Bachman says I'm homeless. No, I'm gonna tell you about one YouTube channel. He had a channel. We all remember him from the RV community, Happily Houseless. No, I'm not homeless.
How you
Nomads
doing,
are
Michaela?
not homeless. We're happily sticks and bricks houseless. But a motorhome is a home on wheels, and you can have a car as a home on wheels. You can have a Class B van, a motorhome. No, RVers and nomads are not homeless and stuff. You make home. That is our homes. So,
And I may go back for that month of August when I'm back on the Rancho, because I love August in California. I may actually do some build out or configuration on the van here and do some things. Now that I've traveled, I've actually been, today's the 30th day that I've slept in the van. 30 days. So I'm certainly been endorsed as a van dwelling nomad to survive the heat.
You've been sleeping in the van since Toronto.
Yeah.
Before that, you were staying in the hostels, right?
Well, I was I was at Dee's place. I was out in the van. There, the last hotel room I had was in Omaha. So,
well, I'm proud of you. I hope you're proud of me, because August is going to be 4 years.
Yeah,
for
I
me.
am. It's unbelievable that you've existed. But now you need to turn your attention to maintaining your health and things like that. That's critical.
Exactly,
things like teeth are connected to the heart, the brain, and they're not to be messed with, because if you do get a raging infection, you don't want to end up taking pliers and trying to pull out your own tooth, as somebody else did on YouTube. Let's see. So the tent within. Shout out to Chris Farley in a van down by the river. It's not my job to talk about job. My job is to enjoy my time on the road, kitten cat. I did my stint. As far as anybody else, their job or their career, it's on them, not me.
I wanted to answer Nathan
I'm
Rollins.
not answering for other people anymore. It's up to them to decide. I'm just living my life and enjoying. I've sucked every ounce of fun out of this trip. I've had tremendous sightseeing. There'll be great sightseeing this week. And in a week or so, I will be heading out and going back to the Rancho with tremendous memories of what I call the Great Lakes Tour 2019.
I wanted to. Cutie's Corner says I'm having pad thai chicken at Yummy Yummy with soup, egg roll, $8.98 lunch special on Broadway, Chicago. Delicious. Is she from Chicago?
I have no idea. I've never
That's
seen
what
her
she just
personal
said
before.
I think I've seen her. I don't know if she's from
You
Chicago.
have to be very careful about if infection gets to your brain or something, it becomes very difficult. So, but the pain will be excruciating if you get.
Now I want to answer Nathan.
Plums and I know, Joey D. I'm missing some plums and peaches. I know. Jen's been distributing them to different people. So good on her.
I want to answer Nathan Rollins. He says, so is a tent with a human being. Your Class B is not a real Class B. No toilet and shower. My Class B, it had a toilet and shower. I took it out because, first of all, the toilet was too small for me. Second of all, the toilet was in the wrong area of the van. It took up a lot of space. And third of all, the shower was too small and not functional for me. So taking all that out and creating a space for a bed and having essentially a bedroom and a dining room separated, it really made a lot of room in the coach. And you can look at videos earlier of my van when I bought it and what it was in its original state and what it had in there. But for what I did, it serves my purpose. So
I'm not sure. I mean, I don't know the pure definition of RV, but I know there's so many places to clean up on the road and take care of hygiene, take care of toilet habits and all that. That it's not, especially, like Kit Kat. I can understand if you're boondocking at a BLM land or something like that, or out in the countryside in the forest and things. Then you're more dependent on your shower. You're more dependent on your toilet out there. But if you're like I am, an urban van dweller, then your opportunities to relieve yourself and to get showered up are so numerous in a big city. It's amazing. There's always something open. Cleanliness may not be the best, but I certainly don't sit my hiney down directly on any toilet seat or anything. I can guarantee you that. But the opportunities and the ability to do that are unparalleled, wouldn't you say? If you can maintain. I get a daily shower every day, sometimes two a day.
Rosie, do you want to tell people, since you've been in this van for a while now, say if you kept this van another year and you traveled in it, what would you alter about the van to make it more comfortable for you?
The main thing, because I really like my sleeping deck, I like the carrying underneath. I brought a lot of tools with me too, so I was loaded with tools because I didn't know what Mr. X would have, and I'm glad I bought some of the tools yesterday.
Right.
But sleeping has been fantastic in here. The number one thing that I would do is to get some fan equipped in here, to put a fan with a 12-volt battery and have like a solar panel or something to keep that charged up, and possibly even an inverter to run something to keep it simple. I would not change the decking here. I have started to crack the windows an inch at night to allow. Some nights I was in here with the windows up. It was 85 degrees overnight, so but there's still some flow coming through, but it's nice.
So
the
ventilation.
Difficulty, Whiskey OG, I know he's got a nice RV. The whiskey difficulty, he may not care. It may be country camping for him, and he'll be fine. But if he goes to take that Class C into city areas, and it's going to be a little more. It's going to be a little problematic too.
So for you, ventilation is crucial, and adding a fan and a battery, a solar panel to keep it charged and running is also, you could put an inverter to charge your devices. That would be good. But you said that you
look up USB charge fans, and you can clip it somewhere. That's a good idea, good people. USB charged fans. That's a good idea. I want something simple. I don't want to ruin my. I don't want to ruin my stealth too much in the rig.
I think if you set up, if you got a couple of solar panels and an inverter, charge controller, so you can not only run the fan, but you could get a 12-volt cooler to have some refrigeration in here, have some cold drinks, keep some snacks. I think that would be a really good thing. I think that I've told Rosie that she could build a bed in here that's higher, have a little better storage, get a 12-volt refrigerator, and have an area where she could like sit down on her laptop, maybe turn one of these seats into swivel or.
Well, it's difficult. I barely get into the van now when I step up. If I put it any higher, it's going to be too challenging. I ain't no spring chicken to jumping in and out of a man. I remind people I'm 61 years old, and some days I feel every month of that. 61. So I want things easy and convenient. The number one thing for me is sleeping. I can pull out a hot plate if I want. I got a camp stove that I carry here. But this is, when you're in an urban area, the possibilities, you can eat across the scale of cheapness. You can eat for $5 a day, $10 a day. But what you want to do when you come in the city is hit the high points, hit the noted places like Jim's original Polish last night with the pork chop on a roll. Who would think a whole pork chop on a roll? Or the Polish dogs, the good. You got to hit those kind of. Places. Hotels are cheap and not that expensive. Wrong. Hotels are very expensive these days. Plus, you get in a hotel, you get next to people that are running their TVs, they're fighting at night. The lower the cost of the hotel, the lower the trade of people that are in there. They're fighting, they're screaming, the walls are paper thin, the air conditioning doesn't work, bed bugs.
I'm trying to look up some Chicago tourist things, that you would be probably interested in, maybe. Chicago River Architecture Cruise, $41. Chicago Classic Lake Tour.
Yeah, I'm going to do the St. Valentine's Day. Today might be the day to go down to the site on Clark Street to the St. Valentine's Day Massacre. Today may be the day.
Oh, there's a Chicago Gangsters and Ghosts 2-hour walking tour. Wherever that's at, I'm not sure.
I'd rather just go on my own and explain some of the history, and then continue that chooch right up to where John Dillinger was gunned down outside the Biograph Theater by FBI agent Melvin Purvis.
Are you interested in going to the Wrigley Building? That's
No.
a classic,
No,
iconic
I've done
landmark
enough.
on Michigan Avenue.
I'm doing downtown chooch, but I'm not paying to go up in buildings and things like that.
I think that's free to. Well, you can just videotape it from the outside. That is a
Yeah, I
Wrigley
mean,
Building.
I went by there the other night.
Right.
I'm putting up a cinematic night ride from last night. I'm going to take some time today to put up some of my content starting to back up here. So I need to take time to put it up today. So today's going to be a total relaxation day. After eating today, I'll probably go over to Clark Street at the site of the St. Valentine's Day Massacre and do a stream over there. Now my streams may be very short. There's no sense elaborating them and making them longer, and then we can go over to the Biograph Theater and relive it, and talk about the actual shooting and how it all came down that night and how they finally nailed. I have a drone, Red Pill. I just didn't choose to bring it with me. So many of these cities have restrictions on drone flights. I think the next time, plus I crashed the drone. I had to pay $270 to have it repaired. That pissed me off. It dropped 50 feet dead out of the sky. And I tell you the truth, I lost confidence. So I have to gain it back again, the confidence of flying, because every time that thing takes wing, it's like $2,000 or something. I've had that thing almost come down on a highway in Napa Valley. What if it runs into somebody's windshield and they're swerving because they think it's an alien attack or something? What's this thing? I don't want anybody to get hurt flying this damn drone. Check out Rosie, roadsideamerica.com. Lots of quirky. Okay, cool. Thank you, Mark Handler. And I'll probably be able to stop and see Mark. I'm going to go at a very high speed back to the. There's really nothing. I've spent a lot of time in Salt Lake. You guys have seen Salt Lake. I mean, I'll do a night chooch if I pull into town and stuff like that. It'll be a lot of solo chooching. Hello from Kuwait. Okay, my goal is to travel some countries of the world. How cool, Kuwait. And tourist attractions have joined the channel. Thank you. Okay, welcome to you, Mo Kuwait. You speak Spanish. Well, there's that Carrie. I don't really know Carrie too much on here. But anyway, that's what I want to do. It's going to be a very fast run back to Santa Rosa.
Okay.
On there, and then I got a lot of work to do. I'll address the van issue. I may purchase get the fan set up here. I like the idea of the USB charge fan that can just run at night.
Rosie, are you interested? I've just brought up Housely, which is a great site to look up. Are you interested in me talking about the 10 most dangerous neighborhoods in Chicago?
Yeah, I mean, we'll go down and visit.
But are you interested in me kind of pointing some out now?
Well,
good. There's Chatham area.
I like to get to number one.
Between
baby.
79th and 93rd, it says 14% unemployment. Is that pretty bad?
Yeah, and
Okay.
a 3 point something unemployment economy.
Okay, there's Grand Crossing around 67th and 79th, 14th worst. West Garfield Park, I think that's on the that's south side of Chicago. Median income 26,000. Is that bad? There's Chicago Lawn. There's Gage Park. I'm trying to look up Gage Park between 51 and 59 streets. Incomes are higher than 38,000. That doesn't seem that bad, right? Fuller Park, East Pershing and West Garfield. There's Auburn, Gresham. 49. See, 16% neighborhoods out of work. Is that bad? 16%
Yeah, it's pretty
unemployment.
high.
Okay. There's Riverdale. I think. Um, this is on 130th Street. This is really bad over here. Median income 14,000.
I'm not looking for the income. I'm looking for the
Okay.
crime.
Inglewood and West Inglewood are the worst.
Okay.
This is the 28,000 population, median income 20,000, and a family of 4 needs at least 25,000. And West Inglewood is the worst. So, yep,
Okay.
they're
Well,
saying
that's
those
where
are.
we'll be heading, Inglewood. That'll be it for a classically epic hood drive around. Actually, Joe Smith, people told me I looked refreshed and very well rested today. So good morning to you. Anyway, you got that to look forward to. We'll do the same thing as Detroit. It'll be a mega ride around. It'll probably be on the order of 4 or 5 hours, something like that. I do have some restaurant material that I do want to put up. It's more the classic experience of Chicago. It's not. We did go to Kebabi, which was a kebab place.
Yeah.
Now I'll tell you, if you eat once a day, that wasn't cheap. But at $19, what they threw down on the table was a silver platter this big, just full of rice and 2 skewers of filet mignon on that thing. So you really feel, and a roasted tomato, and it was absolutely out of this world, the flavor of that. So I figure that's what I like to do to save the money, is just eat once a day, and that's it. So my food budget is effectively like $15, $20 a day.
Is Cutie's Corner? Are you from Chicago? I think she was mentioning that she's ate something on Broadway.
Let's see.
I don't know if she is or.
Yeah, I'm not sure. This thing is.
I know it's kind of.
I've kind of been watching. Oh, I'm glad you enjoyed it. A lot of new people have come on Almost Uber 76. Yeah, it's been. I think anytime you're on the road, it's going to attract subscribers. And like I said, it's not people that are engaged in drama, but it's people that like to see.
People don't want to see content, yeah?
Yeah, they want to see actual, street content. Plus, street content has what I call stick to it. People will enjoy it a year from now. They'll enjoy it 2 years from now. So
yeah, definitely.
Drama has a very short shelf life, and there's no context for people in the future.
There's exactly, yeah. It's just
yeah. So there'll be, hey Ron, how you doing? Nice to see you. Loving your. Okay. You've been enjoying Elvis too. Good, Ron. Thank you. It's been a good 10 days. I think we've cooperated well on the bill.
Besides Rosie,
I consult him to ask him what he thinks about this or that, and
I try to encourage Rosie to explore the city streets of Chicago so she can learn the neighborhoods more. Because when you take the highways, you just don't see nothing.
Well, I will, but I've not been. This is my first day of freedom, really.
Exactly. When we did the chooches in the driving chooches in Detroit, we didn't take the highways. We took the small streets, and we were able to see a lot. And I think that's how she should do Chicago. So yeah, that's just my opinion on that. Rosie likes to take the highway a lot. So.
Well, I take after Mr. X likes to get places fast. And last night.
You miss a lot of things though when you take the highway.
Well, it's fine, but sometimes if I eat once a day and it gets on to about 9 o'clock at night. I have one classic Dunkin' donut for breakfast, the old-fashioned, and that's it until 9 o'clock at night. So that's a long time. So I don't want to diddle around on the streets of Chicago crawling through traffic lights. I want to get on the highway and get there fast and get the feedback on, man. I don't want to be dicking around the streets.
Cutie's Corner says, I keep telling you guys Chicago is a war zone. Yes, I've been telling Rosie that Chicago is a very dangerous city. I saw Michigan and it was bad, but I think Chicago is even.
Oh, I wrote. Look at my Baltimore chooch if you want to see bad. Imagine, I'll tell you something else. Chicago doesn't have them. Detroit doesn't have them. What makes Baltimore unique is row houses. Baltimore and Philadelphia. These people have separation between their homes. Now imagine all these homes jammed together on a hot summer night with no AC. and all these people out on the street, an argument starts to break out, and pretty soon the whole freaking block is involved. You'll never convince me that this is any more dangerous than row houses in Baltimore, blown out neighborhoods.
Andrew Scott is saying Chicago has seemed nice from what Rosie has shown. Baltimore looks scary. Well, you haven't seen the bad parts of Chicago yet.
We saw the bad parts of Detroit, and I was not in fear, but the economic deprivation was on a massive scale with the homes. It's like a give-up factor. The roads are horrific in Detroit.
I think in Detroit, it's more people that are just poverty-stricken. And here in Chicago, there's more gangs. And that's what makes it scary. And I think that...
I mean, Detroit took a toll on my van.
Yeah.
You know, a severe toll. Suspension, tires, everything.
I think that, that's what Rosie is... just doesn't understand the gangs, how strong the gangs are.
I don't buy that stuff because California is gangland supreme out there that makes Chicago look like a Sunday school picnic to LA gangs and things like that. You know, so I disagree with that. Gangs, but there's not. I'll be looking for more signs of just learning and feeling my way forward. I reserve the right to change my mind when I go through it. I may change my mind. I'm not locked into that. But he didn't ride with me through the streets of Baltimore and the row house neighborhoods with plywood ripped off the doors, and that was real economic deprivation. I didn't see real economic deprivation like that in Detroit. What I saw was abandoned homes, block after block after block after block, and mile after mile after mile. Baltimore's a very corrupt city. Chicago's a corrupt city. Detroit's a corrupt city.
Is Baltimore, though, is it...
Remember, Baltimore's where the Mayor Sheila Dixon told the police to stand down during the...
So is Baltimore gang infested like
it's
Chicago?
It's not gang infested.
See, that's the difference.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
That's people shooting people.
Right.
That's not severe economic deprivation within collapsed homes and things like that. I don't give a hoot and holler about gang activity on the streets. That's gang members taking out gang members. I could care less about that. That's what the cops cheer for when one gang member takes out another one. They're not going to jump in there and do a lot of investigation. Do they have canal parking, camel parking? I don't think so, Vinny G. I don't think they have camel parking here. But I'm saying there's a difference between gang-controlled areas and economic deprivation, and I don't think Marshall's ever understood the difference between the
one thing I want to point out to people, and they keep on mentioning, my CDL and why I don't get back into trucking and all that. First of all, I want to just say this: I was in trucking for 2 months, and I didn't finish my year in trucking. And there's a lot of companies that are local that won't hire you for a local job unless you have at least 1 year or even 2 years of experience. So with someone that has just 2 months of experience as a CDL truck driver, the only companies that would take you would be, again, the training companies that require you to be with them for a year and sign a contract. And that's just the way the trucking industry works. You can't work a trucking job, get your CDL, work 2 months, and then expect that you're going to get a cushy local job and they're going to bring you in with 2 months experience. It doesn't work like that. And anybody in the United States of America, you can go look at the requirements for local trucking jobs and you'll see that a lot of them are looking for 1 year experience, 2 years. Some of them are even looking for 5 years, like Walmart and a lot of other companies. So I don't want people to be confused about this. A lot of you that are watching don't even have a CDL. Never drove a truck, don't know anything about the trucking industry. But you don't have to know anything to believe what I'm saying. Just go look at the local job requirements for local truck drivers and you'll see what these companies require.
I'm saying on my channel, that's his concern, that finances and other things are his thing. My thing is about enjoying retirement, being out on the road and getting those experiences for you guys. That's what I live for. Now, on the plus side, when a guy like this is with you, he knows Chicago like that. He's even telling Mr. X how to get places. I mean, Mr. X, I'm astounded. He's lived here.
You saw me that Mr. X...
Let me finish my sentence.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
So there is an upside to, being able to find the quote deals, being able to find Now, what he's lacking in is historical context of Chicago, and that's where I think I fit in nice with, like, the St. Valentine's Day Massacre. There's a lot of history that happened in Chicago. He's more about the foodie scene, the neighborhoods, and that kind of, which is fine. I mean, that's what a city is. It's a collection of neighborhoods, but
Yeah,
there's a lot of history here.
There's a little bit of everything for everybody in Chicago. So, you know, I know Rosie is into history and old buildings and stuff like that, and you know, I haven't really went into that, but I have a very good understanding of the geography of Chicago, even more than Mr. X. And Mr. X was born and raised here, and I had to direct him on how to get around.
Last night was brutal getting into Chinatown. It was exceedingly difficult. Let's see. Yeah, history and architecture too. So today I'm going to focus on content. I'll probably go over to Clark Street, the site of the. We'll make maybe today a couple gang, 1920s style gang, 1920s and 30s. So I'll try to concentrate on getting over to Clark Street. I'll go live on Clark Street. We'll talk about the events of 1929, the St. Valentine's Day Massacre, where Al Capone was, and the whole Bugs Moran and that gang, and the whole fight about taking over the bootleg trade here and the liquor trade here in Chicago. And then we'll go over to the Biograph Theater, and we'll talk about the events of what really put Chicago on the map as a violent city. Was Al Capone and the gangs of Chicago. They were the original thugs, you know, and thanks to the stupidity of Prohibition, liquor was illegal, so it became a very profitable trade for them to run liquor and prostitution. And then, of course, John Dillinger was a noted bank robber and stuff like that. So we will see that today. Now, the hangouts will be short. They will be compact. Okay, it's like Chinatown. I can't extend Chinatown and say like it's San Francisco with block after block after block, which is much older and much more ornate than the Chicago Chinatown. So the stream's going to be short, but it'll be very, very targeted.
I think, in my opinion, I just want to point this out to Rosie and everybody. I think Rosie, I know she's interested in the history and landmarks and all that, but I think what she needs to do, in my opinion, while she's in Chicago is, in the daytime, she needs to take advantage of checking out the different neighborhoods and cultures and foods, because that's when all those places are open. And in the nighttime, she should then concentrate on probably doing more.
The Chicago alligator's been caught. Okay, Smooth in the chat. Hey, Smooth.
Oh, hey, Smooth Operator, Mr. X. Good morning. Good afternoon. But I think like I said, in the daytime, she should concentrate on just learning the different neighborhoods and the food scene and the daytime spots that are open. And then the nighttime, there's so much nightlife over here that that's what it should be. But the daytime is when you're going to learn more about Chicago, when you can show people these spots.
I got to do the top down. Today's the day I choose to concentrate on the historical, the gang, why Chicago was put on the map as such a heavy-duty gunslinging city. Let's find out. Let's explore the roots of that.
There's a very interesting documentary on the Austin area of Chicago, the west side of Chicago, that I think that you should watch, about how there used to be Irish gangs, and then the Puerto Ricans took over, then the African Americans took over.
Thank you, Insane Chef.
There's a whole history on that. That's part of like the history that you're talking about.
Sam Telford, gangsta, baby, gangsta. There we go.
But
gorgeous gangsta.
So yeah, I think
who cares about Chicago? Chicago is a stunningly beautiful city. I've driven through Toronto at night. I've driven through Detroit and had the night views. They're not even in the same league as a Chicago drive. And I'm sorry, you cannot drive through Manhattan Island itself and get the viewpoint and the vantage point. You have to go over to New Jersey side, and then that's a short just run up there. But imagine weaving all over these overpasses and underpasses. Chicago has so many overpasses and underpasses, and the skyline. There's so many different viewpoints. It's to me, it's number one. To me, it's number one in terms of its beauty. Was by far the Toronto was nice across the lake, but I'll tell you what. for the skyline. Toronto, Chicago is just it's incomparably beautiful at nighttime.
Yeah.
With that, guys, we're coming up to the 1 hour mark. It's time to get down on some Chicago dogs here to kind of get my day going. I will see you guys over on Clark Street today. You know, get a place to park over there. I got to really be careful of parking tickets in Chicago. These Chicago police parking people are leeches at the first order, and they're everywhere and looking to.
I'll tell you one
revenue.
thing though, that before we wrap this up, is I've been waiting to do an extensive walking chooch with Rosie in Boys Town. Why? Because that's the area,
Well,
you know,
maybe
the
we'll do that
LGBT area
tonight. It'll be a comfortable night.
with the transgender community, and I've been waiting, and I think it'd be a lot of fun. But we should do it on the weekend.
Okay, well,
Friday or
night.
Saturday. But I think we could even do it on the weekdays. I think that there's so many things to do in Chicago.
No, I'd bang it up on a Friday night over there. I'd just go all out on a Friday night.
Yeah, I think there's so many things to do in Chicago that you know, but that's what I look forward to.
All right, well, you got lots of content to look forward to. Doing a video on the final on the box today, and then, but I'm not doing anything to do the wrap on that until I get some other stuff done too. So have a wonderful day, everybody. Thank you so much for watching and being a part of the channel here. Thank you to the new subscribers who have come on board. It's wonderful to see you guys. And take care and have a wonderful Tuesday.
Woo!